matter of fact, Teddy Dewey was walking around up here in his usual fashion and said they ought to make a rule at the ballparks that they could change the attire to Bermuda shorts, like he said. So I think he's got a good point. It's very hot. A lot of people sweating up here, but it has not dampened the turnout for today's parade. A good crowd in Houma, Louisiana, and things are going well.
By the way, for the parade chairman, of course, is Mr. Elwood Burr. Co-chairman is his wife, Barbara, assisted by Terry Bergeron, Alan Dedivo, Larry Hart, and Richard Ricca. And
it's the U.S. Army 5th ID Band.
Let's listen in.
And now you're going to have the Houma Shrine Motorcycle Unit. You see this group of guys in most of the parades always having a great time, and I know it goes a long way back in Terrebonne Parish. It would be unusual not to see these guys in a parade.
And now we see the color guard as presented by some local Boy Scouts from our area. And by the way, and we'll be seeing her car any moment now. I believe, if I remember correctly, she's the surviving spouse of the former commissioner, Southwest Regional Commissioner. In fact, we just got that word from the current Southwest Regional Commissioner, Mr. James Wagner from Arkansas. And Martin, look who's driving the car, but isn't it Lawrence Zoe Robinson?
My man, Zoe Robinson. Boy, he's getting involved in the parade. It's good to see the people working for the parish of Terrebonne. They're getting involved with all the festivities.
Zoe, please wave at the TV cameras. Thank you, Zoe. And, of course, in the next car, the man who made this all possible.
That's right, Mr. Don Diamond. I'll tell you what, if anyone out there in Terrebonne Parish can imagine someone working so hard for so many years, Mr. Don Diamond, and truly, he definitely deserves to ride in this parade today. He's done so much work getting these people to Terrebonne Parish, and I'm so proud of him. He's done a fantastic job.
And, of course, driving the car, Judge Jude Fungi from Houma City Court, and I believe that's Don's granddaughters in the car with him. Okay, coming up in our next car, of course, is Mr. Buddy Marcello, and, of course, he's the Hark Chief Administrator, and also Mr. Hayes Lefty Bonvillain in the front seat.
Boy, two baseball-oriented people. Mr. Hayes Bonvillain going way back in the Babe Ruth league. Tremendous fella. Coach Buddy Marcello in the Hall of Fame. He definitely is very, very good for baseball. Great for the parish, and it looks like they're enjoying themselves in their ride through Terrebonne Parish today.
Of course, Mr. Hayes Lefty Bonvillain basically started the Babe Ruth program here in Terrebonne Parish 40-something years ago, back in the early 1950s or so. So Hayes Lefty Bonvillain, Buddy Marcello.
You ready?
And now coming up is Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Paul Hardy. Martin?
Oh, I tell you what, the Lieutenant Governor really put on a nice little talk last night at the banquet. He was very instrumental also in getting the Babe Ruth World Series to Houma. But, of course, I remember him from his role in Belisaire the Cajun because I was making a movie at the same time as Glenn Petrie, but I remember him in that movie. Look at it. Belisaire the Cajun himself. That's him. That's him.
Paul Hardy, there's Marty Chabert.
Hey, Marty. How you doing? Of course, Marty Chabert, the son of Senator Chabert, Leonard Chabert.
Of course, the Sheriff's Department and the Houma Police Department coming by now. I think Zip Robichaud was in the car with Marty.
And Chief Angus Babin of the Houma Police Department, of course. And these guys are always in the parades in Houma, Louisiana, so it's no different today. Everyone taking part in the festivities. And here's the District Attorney's office with our current District Attorney, Doug Greenberg. How you doing, Doug? The incumbent District Attorney.
And now coming up, of course, the president of Babe Ruth, Ron Tellefson.
And Ron coming down from New York. It looks like he's enjoying himself. A little bit hot today, but and his moved a little quicker than everybody else's, so maybe he's trying to get a breeze.
And, of course, the tournament director, Mr. Larry Majors from Jamestown, New York. Okay, and now coming up is Rosemary Shellcoff. She is the Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer of Babe Ruth Baseball.
But look who's driving the car, Lonnie. Well, look who's the passenger in the car. None other than our own Basil Charles Aycock.
Charles Basil Aycock.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Oh, he's very impressed with himself. Okay, now coming up, two representatives from U.S. Air, and, of course, they transported most of the teams here. They are Michelle Dickinson and Karen Dickens. U.S. Air.
And, of course, none other than our own Jay Luke driving that car. Jay Luke, how you doing?
And now passing by from, this is the administrative assistant of CPI Insurance, Susan Weissman, and Robert Sheridan. And coming by now, also from CPI Insurance, Laurie Shaw. Getting more representatives from CPI Insurance. And, of course, they're one of the official insurance carriers for Babe Ruth Baseball. And these next few cars are all people from the insurance companies. And, boy, let me tell you, they treat these people nice. Here comes our man, Ernie Papazoglu, on the right.
You know, and Ernie yesterday, here's some more dignitaries coming through. Ernie, last night, Dan Davis brought a live alligator into the hospitality room, and tell you what, Ernie was real impressed, huh?
He certainly was. This is Marion Elliott and Robert Brawbreaker from the Babe Ruth International, of course, Hall of Fame members and board members. Morgan Brazier, the superintendent. Donald Duplantis, the school board president from here in Terrebonne Parish. Okay, now coming up is the mini jet from the United States Air Force. We are used to seeing this, of course, in the Mardi Gras parades. Of course, this is the official van and trailer that carry the mini jet that we just saw. More members of the Shriners coming up now, Martin.
Tell you what, once again, the Shriners are always active in Terrebonne Parish. I didn't know there were so many members of the Shriners, but you see them collecting monies for charities a lot. You see them in the parades. A very, very tremendous showing by the Shriners of Terrebonne Parish.
And now the clown unit from the Houma Shriners. I'd like to welcome them to the 1990 Babe Ruth World Series Parade, and our very first float is coming up.
Looks like a throwing float, and it's the Welcome to Terrebonne float. And I tell you what, we'd also like to give a lot of credit to Elwood Burr for putting on such a nice parade. And he was in charge of this particular segment of Babe Ruth World Series coming home, and I think so far he's lived up to the expectation, and he's done a good job.
And, of course, Terrebonne Parish Councilman on this float, J.B. Bro, Winston English, Lorraine Kimbrell. Let's see who else. Barry Bonvillain, Vernon Bourgeois, I see on the float. And as you might, Renaud Laperouse and Winston English. And as you might expect, they're bombarding us here.
Good job. Yeah, hey, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Saving you money.
Okay, and of course, now we're back. The Sheriff's Department and the Houma Police Captain, John Dixon, of course, passing by right now. And Martin, our first band is?
Right on, the Terrebonne High School Band, and of course, Terrebonne High School active in this parade, along with a lot of the other local high schools. So, Lonnie, each band is sponsored, too.
Yes, in fact, this band, Terrebonne High, is sponsored by the Bergeron Bonvillain VFW Post 3700. Let's listen in. course, this is the Terrebonne High School Band. First band in the parade today. Again, kind of an unprecedented situation. You've got all the junior high and high school bands in this parade, Martin. I don't think that's ever happened for a Mardi Gras parade.
Well, I'll tell you what, once again, a tribute to everyone involved with the Babe Ruth World Series, everyone in the city pulling together, and they know what this means to the economy of Terrebonne Parish.
Of course, these are the Tigerettes, Martin, and every time I talk about them, I, of course, have to say my wife was a Tigerette.
That's right, Regina Thibodeau. Well, of course, she was Regina Landry in those days, Lonnie, before she was corrupted by your presence, but naturally, they get to dress a little differently than they do in the Mardi Gras parades, and I'm sure they like that. It's probably a little more cooler.
Now coming up, the Telephone Pioneers of America, La Bayou Council, and this is their clown unit.
Well, you just ran out of excuses for not having a
state commissioner and other commissioners from the area making this series possible. And of course, they have worked real hard to make this possible.
All right, Lonnie, coming up now, the Houma team. And of course, you can see big bad Gene Gano on that float. You could also see Ronnie Haydell and also the other Gene Gano, father and son, a tribute to the Houma team.
Jack Franks in the van pulling him. And there is our host team, Houma. Okay, now coming up, of course, the cars from the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department. I think Morris Duplantis in the Sheriff's Department car, and in the, of course, in the Houma Police Department car, Captain Wilfred Pellegrin. Want to thank those gentlemen for their help. And Martin, our next band is...
Well, the Houma Junior High, the Bulldog Band. Once again, we'd like to thank them. Of course, that's the feeder school, so to speak, for Terrebonne High School.
That's right. I want to thank them for joining us in the band. Of course, school starting right as we talk about it, or as we describe this parade, and they are sponsored by the Houma Knights of Columbus Council 1317, which is over at St. Francis. And I should also mention that both Martin Falls and I are members of that KC Council. Let's listen in, the Houma Junior High Band. Of course, the Houma Junior High Sweethearts, and this is the drill squad.
Little hot, huh?
Now coming by, the Arkansas and Oklahoma State Commissioners, Abbott Goodwin and Carl Bird. Welcome to Houma. Now coming up are the commissioners from the state of Texas. And of course, many, many state commissioners are here in Houma for the World Series. This is Roxy Robinson and Ray Schlichtens from Texas. Of course, they're all being driven by the Houma Shriners in their dune buggies. John Donnelly, Manny Garia from New Jersey and New York. Now coming up, Martin, is a team that didn't have to travel real far to get here.
That's right, Jefferson Parish. Good to see him in Houma, Louisiana. More amazingly and more important, also a lot of fans from Jefferson Parish are going to come by and see their team play. So it means another shot in the arm for the Houma economy.
And by the way, Travis Levine driving the Jefferson Parish float. Thank you. Well, Martin, these floats are nailing us here. And now coming by again, escorts from the police department and the sheriff's office, Martin.
That's right. Once again, the Houma Police Department and the Sheriff's Office doing a good job. Lieutenant Joe Nall and David Groh. And we'd like to thank them for being in today's parade.
And you might notice something, and people probably wonder. Of course, you can see the hoods popped on all the police cars, and of course, that's because of the heat.
That's right. They have to let that heat escape, and these cars idle so much. And I think we've learned that from years of experience in Terrebonne Parish.
Okay, now coming by in another Shriners unit. This is Jim Watkins, and he is the Michigan State Commissioner, Babe Ruth Baseball. In Martin, next band coming up is a band or a school that I attended, and we'll let you tell them who it is.
Well, that's the Evergreen School, and of course, yes, you did go there. We won't hold it against the school, but I know you're proud of that school, and that's pretty much the feeder school, I think, still for H.L. Bourgeois.
Yes, it is. Benny Broussard, the principal over there, and they are sponsored by the Evergreen Lioness Club. Let's listen in. Evergreen Junior High. Now coming by, the Evergreen Junior High cheerleaders and high steppers.
Come on, don't slow down on us.
Coming by, of course, some extra vans. You've always got to have extra vans and trucks in parades in case any of them pulling the floats break down. And now coming by is Erskine Payne and Bill Sandy. And they're the Southeast Region Assistant Commissioners. And here's the Pepsi van. And now the next team, Martin, and they are from the Middle Atlantic region.
Welcome to Houma, Louisiana, Ewing, New Jersey. And I tell you what, all these guys look like they were having a great time last night at the banquet. And welcome to Houma. That's all we have to say.
And of course, the princesses from the local area, of course, and the bad boys waving at us now on each of the floats.
Right.
And of course, more police escorts coming up, and Martin now a float for one of the big corporate sponsors.
Tell you what, Burger King was one of the first sponsors to help out with the Babe Ruth World Series. We appreciate what they have done, and I know all the administrators and, of course, Don Diamond appreciate it. Burger King getting involved, and that's great for people who have made money in the community to turn it back to the community.
Louis Stiefel, Myron McLaughlin, everyone from Burger King. We'd like to welcome them to Houma. And Martin, another school I attended, why don't you tell them who it is?
Well, of course, this is H.L. Bourgeois High School. The principal, Luther Fletcher, who was on your cooking show just recently. And once again, doing a fantastic job in the parades of Terrebonne Parish.
And they are sponsored, by the way, by the Houma Elks Club. Number 1193 is the lodge number. Let's listen in to H.L. Bourgeois High School. Coming up now, the H.L. Bourgeois Rain Dancers. our next float coming up, of course, the representatives of the Pacific Northwest, and this is an area I was just in just about a month ago.
That's right, Beaverton, Oregon, and I tell you what, it's a great place to go from what I hear. A lot of tourists go there. We'd like to welcome them to Houma, Louisiana. Looking sharp, looking serious, too. I'd like to also say that Beaverton so far the most vocal float. Joining me now, the Lieutenant Governor of Terrebonne Parish, Paul Hardy. First of all, how was your ride through Terrebonne Parish this morning?
It was fantastic. I'm amazed at the tremendous turnout, the tremendous support that the Houma Terrebonne community is giving to the Babe Ruth World Series. I know that they are extremely impressed. They said that they've never had anything like this happen to Babe Ruth World Series anywhere before in the United States. So it's a tremendous boost and a tremendous show of appreciation that people are giving to the Babe Ruth World Series. And this means a lot to Houma. It means a lot to the Terrebonne area, but it also means a lot to Louisiana for our tourism efforts. This is the hospitality that we brag about.
Now, you were instrumental in getting it down. I remember you were in on the early meetings in Terrebonne Parish with Teddy Dewey and a few others. But we'd like to thank you for helping get us in Houma, Louisiana.
Well, thank you, and I really appreciate the support that the people showed. Don Diamond, Teddy Dewey, and all of the volunteers, over 1,500 young people, these bands in the summertime coming out for the parade. Tremendous show of support. I'm optimistic that it won't be the last World Series for the Babe Ruth League in the Houma area. Thank you.
Thanks.
And now, the Vanderbilt Catholic High School Band. We want to thank Lieutenant Governor Paul Hardy for coming on. And Vanderbilt Catholic is sponsored by Schlumberger. Let's listen in. And now coming up next, the representatives of the Ohio Valley. This is Youngstown, Ohio. Martin, while waiting for our next police escorts to come up, you'll notice that the players are all dressed in their uniforms. 6 of the 9 teams will actually be playing today.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a true test of their ability for endurance because it is very, very hot. You know they're losing a lot of fluids, and I'm sure they're drinking a lot of water or a lot of the refreshments served to them, but it's going to be a true test to see if they can stand the heat, and I guess the strongest team is certainly going to be the one to survive.
Now, by the way, this is Montegut Middle and Lacache Middle School bands performing for us now. And they are sponsored by the Chauvin Lions, the Montegut Lionesses, and the T. Caillou Lions. Let's listen in. Again, we've got more Shriner Doom buggies coming by, of course, escorting many of the people in town. Of course, we have Joe Laney, the New Hampshire Assistant Regional Commissioner, and John Marshall, the Connecticut State Commissioner there. Now we're looking at Helen Benoit and Alex Benoit. They are the Texas State Assistant Commissioners. Huey Uze and the Sheriff's Department passing by now. Of course, many, many police escorts. And the police are certainly in full force today. Okay, now coming by is a Southeast Regional winners, and this is from Marietta, Georgia. Of course, the Princess is on the float. Hi, girls. Hi, guys. Okay, now coming by, of course, more Sheriff's Office police escorts. And now coming up is our next band, Martin.
The $1 Million Band from Gatorland, of course, the South Terrebonne High School in Berg, Louisiana, where we call it, what, the swamp out there.
That's right. Of course, the principal, Mr. Gerald Piku, and we'll be seeing a lot of them as high school football coverage begins real soon. And they are sponsored by Kirk Manufacturing. Let's listen in, the South Terrebonne High School Band. course, that's the $1 Million Band from Gatorland, and you can see their new trailer right here. Boy, things must be good at South Terrebonne. Look at this trailer.
Excellent trailer. I tell you what, maybe if I get in a bond and I need to transport some equipment, I'm going to call Gerald Pico up.
Of course, from the Sheriff's Office, the Mobile Crime Scene Unit.
And Lonnie, you've been in that unit a lot, huh?
Yeah. Well, now we've got the next representative, Martin, the next team from the Pacific Southwest.
Van Nuys, California. Welcome to Houma, Louisiana. All right. Nice-looking uniform. Nice red there.
Of course, they are from the Sherman Oaks area out in California. One of my favorite places. 1 year ago right now, I was out in that area, and boy, I love it. Martin, the high humidity, and of course, you've spent some time out in the L.A. area as well. High humidity today makes you yearn for that kind of weather in California.
Tell you what, it does, but there's no place like Houma, Louisiana, and every time you go out there, you always want to come back, and that's the reason we choose to stay in Houma, is because of the great people. And now the Oaklawn Tarpon Band.
And they are sponsored, by the way, by Gino's Seafood and Pizza, Grand Caillou Road in Houma. Let's listen in. Now coming up from the Sheriff's Department, the Mobile Command Post and SWAT team. Martin, you've spent some time with the SWAT team, haven't you?
Yes, we did a couple of filming sessions a long time ago with them, and it was pretty interesting.
Hey, I remember you used to do that TV show, SWAT. I remember they had a good theme song, I remember.
Yeah, I was right. Mike Post did that theme song. It was pretty good.
Now coming up, Martin, is the team, the representatives from New England.
That's right, Manchester. So, once again, it looks like they were enjoying themselves last night at the banquet. We see back-to-back reds, though. Van Nuys had red uniforms, and now Manchester. And the coach said Manchester's #1. But, of course, when you're coming into this tournament, nobody thinks they're #2.
The East Houma Lions Club. Martin, here comes our next band.
All right, the Ellender High School band, of course, the principal, James Charles, and we can't forget about the assistant principal, David Berg, and football season's coming up, so David, watch out. But of course, Ellender, just in its first few years, and of course, things are growing over there, and the administration doing a great job. So as the band gets a little nearer, we'll listen in.
Well, you just ran out of excuses for not having...
Every time I think of Kansas, I think of the Wizard of Oz. I want to go home. But of course, they're in Houma, Louisiana today.
And the Princesses and the team from Olathe, Kansas. Martin, it's hard to imagine as these teams come by. You got to remember, one of those teams that's passing by in 8 short days is going to be the world champion.
You're right. And I tell you what, like Dr. Bobby Brown said, Lieutenant Governor Paul Hardy said, you know, you're going to have one team that's going to win and the rest are going to go out unsuccessful. But everyone that has made it to this point should truly, truly be deserving of a lot of congratulations. And once again, we're very proud of them.
Okay, we were very happy to be able to bring you the parade. Again, that was the 1990 Houma Babe Ruth World Series parade through downtown Houma on Saturday morning, August 18th. Okay, of course, we're going to wrap up things now for the HTV Radio Phone Game of the Week. And, of course, we just saw the highlights from the parade. And